suppose this is another fine day for a battle. I am a bit hungry.
Minions have spawned.
Hey guys, tagged you. I'm just gonna go through some of the abilities in the voice pack on Kuang since my mic wasn't working yesterday. I got a new one. So I jumped into a jungle practice just so we don't have any other sounds getting in the way. First I'll run through his voice pack so you guys can hear that.
My powers are far beyond your limited comprehension.
These are his taunts.
You have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting. Only a fool would dare to face me. Ah, there you are, a fool. My powers are far beyond your limited comprehension.
Alright, we'll do jokes.
I am the wisest and strongest of the... well, of everything, actually. Meddle not in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and good with rice. Meddle not in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and good with rice.
So some pretty good taunts and jokes there. We'll see what awesome, woot, or woohoo, and some of the other sounds are.
Fantastic! I am pleased. Completed. Be careful. Retreat! Save yourself! Okay. No. Yes. I am the Dragon King! You have my approval.
Sure. Alright, let's go through his abilities real quick. Alright, so just so you guys know, I just leveled those up randomly. That's not the order you want to build them in, probably. But let's go over these real quick. So, his passive is King's Sword. Kuang's sword can hold up to 3 energy charges and regenerates charges while out of combat. Each time Kuang casts an ability, an energy charge will be consumed if available, increasing the damage of the ability. If Kuang is out of mana, he will use energy charges to cast abilities instead. So he'll be able to cast abilities even if he's out of mana if he has an energy charge, which he can stack up to 3 and regens every 5 seconds. It gives him an extra 1.5 damage per level, plus 35, plus 20% magical power. So right at the moment, well, it says 5% damage increase. Sorry, I was looking at his basic attack. Yeah, it's 5% damage increase and 5-second regen. His number 1, as his teleport ability, teleports very short distance, leaving behind a watery form of himself. He remains stealthed for 5 seconds or until he attacks or takes damage. He may activate this ability again and detonate it, dealing damage to nearby enemies. This is a good escapability, but it is a very short range. You can teleport through walls and barriers, but only very thin walls and barriers, again, because it's a short teleport. His number 2 is Dragon Call. Um, it's either a stimulant or a line attack. Kuang summons 6 dragons to his side. For every successful basic attack he makes, a dragon will dive to the target, dealing additional damage. This ability ends after all dragons are used or after 10 seconds. Kuang may activate this ability again to send forward any remaining dragons in a ranged attack. The dragons damage and slow the first enemy they hit. And this is actually a pretty neat ability. Now, granted, I haven't messed around with it much with live players, but if any of you have played against the practice AI, they'll basically attack you until they're almost dead and then run away. So with this ability, as they were getting low, every time they run away, you could just use the range attack and kill them, basically. His number 3, Wild Storm, is a cone attack. It's relatively short range cone attack. Same with his ult. Kuang unleashes a storm of lightning storm. That's interesting wording there. A storm of lightning from his sword, not storm of lightning storm. Sorry, I can't read. Damaging all enemies in front of him. This hit is considered a basic attack and will activate item effects. So just like Mercury and his Mage Look ability, I believe it is, basic attack item effects can proc off of this hit. Then you got his ult, King of the Eastern Seas, for number 4, target area attack. It's also a cone attack. Kuang selects a single target in melee range and grabs them, dealing damage and knocking them up in the air. If the target is under a health threshold, Kuang will instead reveal his true form, becoming a dragon and executing them. After transforming, this is if he gets the execute successfully, he will transform and remain in the air and then pick a new location to land, dealing damage to enemies within range 20 and fully recharging his sword. So if he pulls off an execute, and the execute threshold actually increases as he levels up the ability all the way up to 35%. So if he pulls it off on somebody with 35% or less hit points, that'll activate his true form, and he actually gets a second attack out of it, which is an AoE attack that also will recharge all of the charges from his passive King's Sword. So that's a pretty amazing ult. Just so you know, it does give you a execute target on enemy targets who are below the threshold, so you don't have to guess. It will tell you when an enemy player is below the threshold, and you can ult them for an execute. You can, of course, use it any time, though. So let's just go check out a couple of these abilities. We won't be able to check out the ult in here. Or no, I guess we can against Raw. So that was his teleport is number 1. So he was invisible. And he is an auto attack god.
First blood.
So there you saw his ult. And the icon that it showed you there is not the icon that you see in game. In game, it's like a dragon type icon. But we'll check out his other abilities real quick here against Ross so you can see him real well. First, we'll check out his number 1. I'll teleport on to Raw, or No, I'll teleport off of Raw.
Bathe in the glow.
So you saw me blow up the watery form it left behind. This is number 2. This is if you activate it to use it as a ranged attack. And this is his number 3, which is a cone attack.
Bathe in the glow.
So we'll just, we'll wait a second until his ult's back up so you can see the targeting for his ult. You can see the sword on the left, recharging. Oh wow, he actually chases you.
Bathe in the glow.
Reincarnation is a wonderful
You have
gift.
been slain.
I got killed by Robbot. That's terrible. No items. It's great.
A deadly tool for a deadly world.
Alright, let's go. Try out his ult again so you can see the targeting. So you can see his ult, it's another cone target. It's very short range. And again, you really need to wait until, wow, Ra's still waiting out there. You need to wait until you see the icon. See, there's the icon again. That's not the icon you'll see in game against live players. Let's go ahead and hit this ult and get another look at it.
You have slain an enemy.
Okay, so that wasn't a good place to try it, but you guys get the idea. We'll show his number 1 again. And it does pretty good damage. So there you go, there's the voice pack and a quick run through of the abilities for Kuang. He is a auto attack god, a melee god. He does have some ranged abilities, but most of them except for his number 2 are very short ranged. I used them in game mainly when players were running away from me. But yeah, he's fun. He's got a lot of burst, great attack speed. With a hasten fatalis, you can pretty much guarantee nobody's getting away from you. Yeah, I'm interested to see how he works out, getting some more games with live players. So there's the new Kuang. He's back. Enjoy it.